Um, Hello, everyone. All right.
All right.
Welcome to Grown Folks Business for this evening. Thanks everyone for joining. I always make the little housekeeping moments of please mute yourselves if you're not talking, just so we can cut down on the background noise. But I do want to hear from you, so don't stray too far away from the mute button. Today's discussion will begin with the prompt of Harriet Tubman's reemergence as the face of the $20 bill. It's going to be an accelerated process now. It's very important to some people that this take place. And I'm going to, at this moment, just play a quick, I think it's about 3-minute clip that kind of explains the relevance of this moment. So let me cue this up.
Felton, can I mention something?
Absolutely. I'm glad you called before I push play. Go ahead.
Bob Winslow just texted. He said he's waiting backstage.
Don't know.
For the host to let him in.
I don't think we've had that.
We had that before we came.
Oh, did you?
That's what it said. Said we were backstage.
Meryl, we can't hear you, Meryl. I'll tell you what.
I don't see him. I don't see. I can try to send him the link again.
I got you.
You got it.
Matter of fact, you know what? I'm getting ahead of myself. Should we lighten the mood first with a little quiz game and let the people know that they can play from home, or should we just go into my spiel about Harriet Tubman? I'll let you guys decide.
And we're good for all of it.
So I have a
We're going to let Bob know that you're sending the link again.
All right. I'm sending it right now. All right. So
yeah, I just knew as well. So
hopefully that guides them into the right place. So yeah, Meryl, how about that? Let's so we got everybody eager to know what the take is on hey Porsche, what the take is on the $20 bill situation. So let's just have a little fun. I could use a little fun and play a game of Kahoot if you have that ready.
I do.
Anybody that's out there in Facebook or YouTube land, join us and have a little fun with a quiz game. And I'm pretty good at them, so challenge me.
All right, so Mr. Lowe created our game today, and it is a sports heavy themed Kahoot. So all the sports enthusiasts, get ready. So we're gonna share the screen here.
Get your phones ready. Is it Kahoot.it? Something like that.
Mm-hmm. Let's see if I can get this to work here. Okay, you guys see it?
Yep, got the PIN number. Everybody put the PIN number in that wants to play. This is the first time us doing it on StreamYard, which is another reason I want to make sure that this took off correctly, because we're going to try to make the last Thursday of each month a little fun and games, possibility to win some prizes. So jump in and you could win a prize. I don't know what the prize is, but you got to beat me to get it. So
yeah, we'll do a $25 gift card to Amazon.
All right. Yeah, I like Amazon. So
Mr. Michael Harris is with us today. Good to see you, brother.
All right.
Y'all people join, just like Felton said, anybody that's joining on Facebook land can just go to Kahoot.it and type in 394-4217.
Now, I can win by default if nobody else wants to play. So,
Danya, you want to try to see somebody challenge Felton here?
I figured since I made it, I shouldn't play.
That's true. That's true. I
yeah,
I totally forgot about that.
Might be the challenge I need, man.
Okay, here we go. Mr. Harris, you want to jump on, man? Come on, Mike.
I need competition. Show me my opponent.
Who is BS?
I don't like to play against you, Felton. You were competitive.
Yeah, that's how I blow off steam, Julian. But come on in.
You see how Felton was treating his sister on the game, so you know he's super competitive, right?
Yeah. Harriet Tubman games. Oh, let's do a game. It's Amazon.
Oh, here's Bob.
We hear them.
All right, Bob, come on into the quiz if you can.
Y'all just carry on without me on that.
Oh man, I need some competition. I'm all alone.
Y'all alone.
Yeah,
yeah,
man.
we got at least have two.
I think people are scared. They know my reputation.
What do I do? How do we get in here?
Go to
on your phone. It's probably best if you get your mobile phone and go to Kahoot.it and type in this pin.
We're not showing up. Oh, there we are.
Oh, Mike is joining. Oh, this is the first time we had somebody join on Facebook. I love it.
Yeah. The more the merrier.
Love it.
Shoot for the king. You best not miss. That's all I'm going to say.
Yes, you are.
We got you, Mike.
We got you, brother. All right. I say, okay.
All right. Let's start the festivities.
Let's start the festivities.
It's sports related. Play the game or answer the questions on your phone. For the
That's right. 2, 1. All right. This is going to be worth double the points normally. Who is this famous tennis player? Who is this famous tennis player? Triangle, Roger Federer. Diamond, Rafael Nadal. Circle, Novak Djokovic. Or square, Andy Murray. One person got it right. That is the Joker. All right. True or false? Kyrie Irving played 2 seasons at Duke before he went to the NBA. Is that true or false? It's false. He played 1. Here we go. True or false? Cam Newton has the NFL single-season rushing record for QB rushing yards. So no other quarterback in one season has ever rushed for as many yards as Cam Newton. Is that true or false? It is false. The record holder is Lamar Jackson. Next question. James Harden currently plays on which NBA team? James Harden plays on which NBA team? The Beard. Dribbles, and shoots. That's all he does, but he's the best at it. What team does he play for? Plays for the Brooklyn Nets. Who is this WWE wrestler that you just can't see? Is it The Rock, The Undertaker, John Cena, or Triple H? Who's this WWE wrestler you can't see?
Air Force, you missed out. Should have got in there.
Here we go. Oh, did I hit the button? Yeah, it is. True or false? Kyle Kuzma plays for the Los Angeles Lakers. Did he play his college ball at UCLA? Seems like it'll be a natural transition there. He's a West Coast guy. He did go to a Pac-10 school, but it was not UCLA. It was Utah. Close battle here.
My true false buttons are like inverted or something. It's weird. I don't know what's going on.
Oh, really?
Yeah, it's weird. Any true false question is not doing what I'm saying.
What was the last franchise to go through an entire season undefeated and win the Super Bowl? Was it the Patriots, the Broncos, Seahawks, or maybe was it this animal here? Helped you out with that one. It's the Dolphins, right? Which team did Major League Baseball legend Babe Ruth end his career with? The Yankees, the Braves, the Red Sox, or the Mets? He definitely was famous for wearing pinstripes, but he ended his career playing for the Boston Braves. Felton takes a command lead here. Oh, got true and false. Hope your button's still not broken. The Raiders franchise that plays football is located in Oakland. Used to be in LA, then Oakland, then back to LA. And are they still in Oakland? They are located in Las Vegas.
So true or false questions do not function properly on my phone. Whatever, no matter what I answer, it's saying wrong.
Well, you maybe do the opposite and see if it'll. If it's really that's crazy. I don't know how many more true false we have, but try that one.
We have the same thing every time it's switched and
it's doing the other thing, huh?
Right answer.
Yeah, we would have won.
You would have won.
Dolphins going to win one way or the other.
How did you reach that conclusion, Greg? If we got all the same problems, you would have won.
We're all winners. We're winning.
That's too funny. All right, so maybe for some reason on this platform, maybe we'll stay away from true false. All right. How many teams did Shaquille O'Neal play for while he was in the NBA? 6, 2, 7, 4. How many teams did he play for? We know he played for the Lakers for sure. But how many teams did he ended up playing for before he retired? 6. That's unbelievable. Unbelievable, big man. Like that, generational big. Who's the most decorated Olympian of all time? This picture's coming up. Might be one of these gentlemen here. Maybe the guy on the left or the right. It's Michael Phelps. Oh, Mr. Harris, Mike said his thing logged out. That's why that's not why he's winning. True or false? All right, so we'll do the opposite. When running for gold in the 2012 Olympics, Usain Bolt actually ran over 30 miles per hour at his top speed. He actually ran over 30. No, it was 28.3. So he didn't quite get there. Oh, wait a minute. I think does say true. That's an error on our side. Yeah, we're not going to do true or false somewhere. It's broken off the hoop. Oh, here's another one. Oops. Peyton Manning is the only NFL quarterback since 1995 to be drafted first overall and win multiple Super Bowls. Is that true or false? The only quarterback drafted number 1 overall since 1995, and he to win multiple Super Bowls. That is false. The other quarterback to have done that is his brother. All right. Last one, just for giggles here. How many seasons did it take for Michael Jordan to win his first NBA championship? 6, 7, 9, or 5? 7.
Wow. Yeah, I got that one wrong. That's
Yeah.
fine. Yeah. But I still won. So I still won. I was gonna say, you tried me with some kind of weird, virus on the true false questions, but I overcame adversity and stand alone atop the podium. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Hey, again, I appreciate everyone coming in. That's gonna be perfected in the near future, but it's just a way for us to have a little fun on these last Thursdays of the month, so that we are not always, down about what's going on in our world. Because a lot of times I'm on here talking about things that could be a little so housekeeping again, just mute yourselves if you're not talking at the moment. I'm going to play a quick clip that's going to kind of put us in the right frame for what we're going to discuss at the onset tonight. Again, welcome to the space. I hope everybody's doing well. Hope your health is good and your family's good. Be careful, still maintain all of the safe practices that you've been doing. There's a new strain of COVID that's in South Carolina as we speak. So just keep practicing safe distancing and washing your hands and all of the things that you have to do to be safe in this environment. We'll get back to being the sociable people that we are soon enough. But right now, let's be safe. And here's the clip.
The Obama administration initially had wanted to put Harriet Tubman on the $20 bill. The Trump administration dropped their feet on that. I wanted to see if the Biden administration has a sort of view of the timeline on whether or not she should be on the paper currency.
Felton, we can't see it.
When we announced that, and it was very exciting. It hasn't moved forward yet, which we would have been surprised to learn at the time.
My bad. I'm still getting used to this technology. I appreciate you letting me know. Let me share my screen, because I have to do that first. Here we go. But you could hear it. You could hear it.
We could hear. We heard it good.
All right. Here's the screen sharing thing that I forgot to push. Let's see. Boom. Thanks for catching that. All right. We in business?
We can see it. Got it.
The Obama administration initially had wanted to put Harriet Tubman on the $20 bill. The Trump administration dragged their feet on that. I wanted to see if the Biden administration has a sort of view of the timeline on whether or not she should be on the paper currency.
I was here when we announced that, and it was very exciting. It hasn't moved forward yet, which we would have been surprised to learn at the time. The Treasury Department is taking steps to resume efforts to put Harriet Tubman on the front of the new $20 notes. It's important that our notes, our money, people don't know what a note is, reflect the history and diversity of our country, and Harriet Tubman's image gracing the new $20 note would certainly reflect that. So we're exploring ways to speed up that effort, but any specifics would, of course, come from the Department of Treasury.
All right. So, before I get to my thoughts on this grand gesture, and you can see how excited I forget her name already. The lady who announced it was at the decision to expedite the printing of this new money. I'm interested in what people think about it, because it was something that was reported a couple years ago, as was stated, that was intended to take place. So I guess off the top of your head, without giving it a whole lot of thought and without me prompting, just a simple question: what do you think of this this moment? What do you think of Harriet Tubman being chosen to be put onto a currency, the $20 bill? I'll call on people so that you can unmute yourself and be ready to engage. Mara, what do you think?
It's better than some of the folks that are on the money now. I mean, like, we're basically trading like baseball cards of slave owners and stuff now. So it's like, I'm not a big, I know that there's like this reverence, and our forefathers and our founding fathers that wrote these documents and blah blah blah. But I'd much rather there just be. I'm not a big fan of just symbols anyway. I don't like statues. Not a big thing. I'm not into deification. So I'm I don't know, indifferent / yeah.
What about you, Bob? Any thoughts on it?
Yeah, I don't have very well-formed thoughts on it, but I will say this. I'm in favor of not having bad people on the money, and I'm in favor of diversity, and I'm in favor of representing diversity in every way in various forms that we can. But an issue that I've read about this that I think has a lot of power is the fact that this is American money, and the economic burden historically on Black people, specifically slaves in this country, is immense. And to celebrate an abolitionist on currency, I think is I think possibly the nicest thing I might say about it is it's awfully shallow and awfully insensitive.
Well, yeah, important to note that she was an enslaved person herself,
right?
And she was a commodity, yeah, right. And now she's on one,
right?
Yeah, the irony. Don, you have an opinion on this, or you just gonna sit and watch tonight? What you think?
Like Merle said earlier, I'm kind of indifferent to it. I'd like to see people's reaction to it, see what everybody thinks about it, but I don't really know how it's really going to bring about any real change or anything like that.
Absolutely. So yeah, there's going to be some reactions to it for sure. They're going to be some that we just going to have to deal with. People who do all kinds of things to money now. So, wow, what will they do to a $20 bill with the Harriet Tubman on it? Did Cecily Tyson pass? That is worthy of a pause. If
she must have, and that's apropos, right? So she's
famous. Yeah. Well, she played
True. Sojourner Truth. My bad.
No, Pittman. She played Pittman.
Pittman. That's right. You're right.
Yeah. Wow. Okay. Well, a moment of silence for Miss Tyson.
Yeah, rest in peace. Icon. Yeah. Queen Tyson. Oh boy.
96 years strong. Yeah. So, Greg, Julia, do you have any just baseline thoughts on Harriet Tubman being on the $20 bill?
I'm hesitant to weigh in on almost anything these days because it's politicized. And there's almost nothing that can be said that's not skewed. But I would like to say that any effort to respect someone, respect a human being, respect a life, I'm in favor of. Now, if showing Harriet Tubman on a dollar or on a currency does put it in the hands of a lot of people, but it also puts it out there for criticism. And that's unfortunate. I don't know what to say about that because it's just the times that we live in. Any effort that we can make or any advance that we can make in respecting people, respecting our people is necessary and it's important. But everything is sidetracked these days. It's skewed. So I'm not sure if it's a good effort or if it's going to render any good to come from it. I'm not sure about that. I'd like to know what the people were thinking when they offered her name. I'm sure that their motivation was good. I'm not sure if it was enlightened or if it was current.
Yeah, great comment, great observation, Greg. And I don't mean to cut you off. If you have more to add to that, please do. So yeah, that's the thought, right? I feel like we're in a space where box checking is become paramount as opposed to truly unpacking an action before we do it. So you have a figure that's pretty much beyond reproach. She is viewed through the historical lens as a positive force and someone who did these wonderful acts without being excessively violent. So her Underground Railroad excursions were done in the dead of night and without a lot of conflict because she got away with it so many times. She was an awesome individual. She worked for the Union during the Civil War. So you don't have a lot of violent moments in her actions. She is a woman. Barack Obama decided he wanted to try to get that done for the year that the Constitution was ratified to respect the suffrage of women. So there was a lot of box checking, I think, to go with the decision. Something that of course stands out, and Bob alluded to it. Do Black people need money, or do they need their faces on money right now? Economics the economics that this country established itself on, which was free labor, slave labor, and the current economic state of those descendants of those that toiled in the fields and that built this country. You know, I don't know how many of them get to hold on to these $20 bills for very long. The symbolism kind of rings hollow, and I don't know if you guys could pick up on it, but the excitement that once again, I forget her name, the young lady who made the announcement, I guess she's the press secretary now. She was, you could tell she was a little bit giddy about, saying, hey, we're going to get this thing back on track. It's just there's just a lot more that we could be doing besides changing who's on our currency. We could do that under the right circumstances, but I don't know that these are. So that was kind of where I wanted to start tonight. And it was, it's still definitely open for more unpacking and more conversation. But I didn't come up with a whole lot of questions, but the base one, and Bob fortunately already kind of addressed it. The economic condition of Black Americans is what needs to be addressed, not necessarily at this moment the changing of who's been on the currency. I don't know how long Andrew Jackson's been on the currency, but it's been long enough that I don't think people really care to address that as being some kind of celebratory moment, him not being there any longer.
I just to interject something. I'm happy for him to be off of the $20 bill. Completely happy for him to be off the $20 bill. I just think, to your point, Felton, that putting a picture of a former slave on money is not giving money. There's no economic advantage to the people that suffered that experience by putting somebody's picture on the money. So elevate her in other ways. Absolutely. She deserves it. She's a terrific historical figure in every way that I know of. But I just don't know that money is the way to do it. On the money is the way to do it.
Absolutely.
And Felton, I want to say real quick
Go
too.
ahead. Yeah, go ahead, man. Go ahead.
Overall, just statement about like community development or like when you're just having process change. So there are two questions that I normally ask when I think about stuff as we're trying to be strategic. It's what happens if you do nothing. That's just a general thing. And then what can happen if you do it correctly? And I think a lot of times folks are like, I just want to have this thing because like, I know what happens if we do nothing because, everything stays the same. But if we do something real quick and we don't think about it and like a couple people in the room think it's a great idea and we run it past the one black guy in the room or the one lady or something like that, it's like, well, here's this one thing we can do that's really going to be, so we're not in a space where we haven't done anything. But sometimes you need to take time to like do something correctly and right and be more thoughtful and inclusive. And sometimes that takes time. And so I think the thing that disturbs me is like these things that just get rushed to be done just so you can say you did it. And I don't know what impact it really has overall.
Wonderful observation. So when you have those moments, which apparently happened some years ago, this rush, Harriet Tubman has to be on this $20 bill. When it is met with any hesitation or pushback, it becomes more of a thing that has to happen instead of possibly in some of that pushback, there was hey, let's think about this a little bit further and maybe unpack it some more. If that gets drowned out by we'll never do it, and as the clip showed that Trump thought it was just super politically correct, it gets lost in that, and it becomes more of a celebratory act. And look, we're going to do this anyway, as opposed to, as you just stated, Meryl, the moment that somebody can say, hey, let's consult some people. Maybe let's talk to some historians. Maybe let's figure out a little bit more about this person and how they may feel if they were still with us. So a good example of that, and I touched on it last week, and that's what kind of led me to making this the topic, was when I said, what would MLK do? That was the conversation last week. And, his voice is utilized in I think it was a Chevy commercial or truck commercial or whatever. I can't conceive that he would have allowed for that to be the case. He was not into materialism. That just was not his thing. Buying something for the sake of buying it was not something he would have been happy to be a part of, or advertising a commodity that he probably would have had no use for. So anyway, yeah, great observation, Meryl. Appreciate you sharing that. So Harriet Tubman is a big topic, and she's always, as long as I've been alive, been a important figure to be explored during the month that is upon us, Black History Month. And my question to the group that I kind of ponder for a lot of years now myself, should there ever come a time where Black History Month becomes history? I say that because I've never been someone who believed that two histories can take place in one place. I've always been fascinated with the fact that we have this month reserved for the celebration of Black Americans. They lived at the same time as white Americans. These things did not take place in two separate bubbles. So I understand why Woodson thought it was a good idea to create this moment, because there was so much overlooking and willful segregated thought in terms of the importance of Black citizens. But when do we come to a point in time where we understand that these things took place at the same time and need to be unpacked at the same time? Because we keep this separate mentality. We separate the fact that someone like Thomas Jefferson actually corresponded with someone like Benjamin Banneker. They actually corresponded. There's letters that they wrote to one another. But if you think about Black history, you only know Benjamin Banneker as the guy who remembered how to design Washington, D.C. So, yeah, that's my question. I mean, do we need to get to the point of really wrestling with our country in as a total one thing, as opposed to trying to have these separate, this carve out of February where we celebrate Black people and then we go back to whatever else America's about historically? I'm interested in a young minds thought. So if you're still with us, chime in for me, sir, good sir. And I'm talking to the youngest man on here, so you know who you are.
Oh, well, I don't got a lot of insight into this, so I'm not gonna be able to offer a lot. But can you? What do you mean, like when you say like Black History Month will become like you think it become a memory in the future? Is that what you're saying, or a part of history?
I'm asking, should it? Because we all of this is taking place at one time. There is no separate. I'm not a anti-Black history person, but I'm observing that
Yeah.
we all are in this together.
I don't think so, unless unless there's like I see more evidence or something. I'm fine with it right now as it is, but maybe that'll change in the future. It's just, like I said, I don't have a lot of insight into this topic, so I can't offer too much. But
You better have insight into this topic, man. But it's okay. we'll let you off the hook. Mary, what are your thoughts on it, man?
No, I think it's fine to have to carve out. I mean, I'm even fine with, even though I tease and Martin Luther King Day, the holiday kind of it's a funny day because I'm always looking to see the terrible people they're going to be quoting stuff. It's always the worst people quoting MLK on that day, and it's the only day that they talk about stuff, and it's funny to me. I think the carve out is fine. I just think that it has to be more conversation about, hey, this can't be the only time organizations are focused on issues that impact Black folks. So like on MLK Day, on Black History Month, that's the time. That's to kind of get your stuff out and your all of your sayings and do your racial equity trainings, all that stuff during that time. But I think it just has to be more uplifting and calling out of injustice throughout the year, and make sure that organizations that benefit and monetize this, these days and that month are somehow held accountable by the folks in the organization that share the background. So I totally think we should keep having Black History Month.
So I only come at this. I get to this conclusion because I feel like it alleviates 11 other months out of the year from being concerned with what Black people have contributed to this country,
right?
And also recognizing the deficiencies that still exist in this country, because you relegate 28 days and sometimes 29 to this time span of, wow, we really have to think about this hard for a month. And these kids are bringing in all these projects that are talking about these great people that nobody talks about any other time throughout the year, for the most part, unless you make it a specific interest of yours. I think, it needs to be something that we know exists because it has for quite a while, but it also needs to be understood that this has to take place throughout the year. It's been watered down, and it becomes, as you just stated, about some type of marketing strategy or scheme at points, as opposed to what it was truly created for, was to educate the American public about the Black American experience and the contributors to this great country that were Black Americans. We're kind of just like, oh, we get to that, and this, it's just not. It's a little insincerity there. Okay, Greg, Julia, go ahead. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
So real quick, it's going to be really interesting to see when Juneteenth comes back around here in 2021. To see, I feel like that's going to be something that becomes like the next thing, and then maybe the next thing to go away, and there'll be some other Black History moment where they finally get rid of Columbus Day and replace that with some Black American something. I think that's going. I could see that happening. Juneteenth and get rid of Columbus Day. I mean, I'm saying it's not that it's helpful, but I see these things in my head about like the opportunity to like capitalize on like this notion and the symbolism. And one way to do it is to make Juneteenth, because I know there are plenty of companies now that Juneteenth is a real holiday now, and the employees don't have to work. It's one of those floating holidays like President's Day that you can trade. And Columbus Day is going to be the same thing. So,
well, you got Indigenous Peoples Day is already, you know, it's a competition between that and Columbus Day as we speak. But yeah, so Juneteenth, another, to me, symbolic, somewhat problematic gesture in terms of elevating a holiday that was pretty much always recognized in Texas and in certain parts of America, and understood that that's when the information regarding the end of slavery reaches Texas. But again, that's Harriet Tubman on the $20 bill. What is that really doing for Black Americans, you know, besides another day off work when they may not have a job anyway? So before we stray too far, thoughts on Black History Month, Greg and Julia?
You know, I think sometimes we do the right things for the wrong reasons. And that might be where some white people need to start, you know, and sometimes I think like Black History Month is preaching to the choir. Like we watch every single show on PBS that's an American experience or has a Black choir, but I'm not sure how many other white people do. But, and just like MLK Day, we were part of a caravan, and I think we were the only white people that were in the caravan. But still, white people saw us. So, you know, I think things are going to start slowly. And we have to be patient. I don't know why there has to be a Black History Month. Every month should be Black History. We should be learning about Black history all along.
Yeah. It's been carved out. That's a part of my thing. And I say this in every setting, especially when I'm in an academic setting discussing history. You can't have two histories take place in the same place separately. They're at the same time. It's not possible. You just can't. So yeah, that's part of my discussion around that. But go ahead, continue, please.
That's it. When we have unity, there's no black and white. We're all one, and it's all one history.
Yeah, I speak on race like I do because it exists. It is a social construct at its core, but America decided to make it very important. I am an American. I appreciate the history of my country, and race is something that I will be discussing until there comes a point where we understand it to be what it is, a social construct that we chose to embrace to justify treating a group or multiple groups of people extremely harshly. And I'll leave that right there. Bob, what are your thoughts?
Fundamentally, I think I agree with you. The practical issue is that Black History Month came about because we weren't talking about Black history. We weren't talking about the value of Black people in the history of this country. We were whitewashing the Black history that we might have even been including in the history classes that we had. But you could go through school, all 12 years of school, and then even into college for some people, and never get the full story. And so we needed to do something to tell the story. And so should we have needed to? No, but we did need to. So we did, and I'm glad that we did. And I think that for now we still need to have it, because it is a way to elevate and tell that story. Would the goal be to not have to have it? Absolutely. When we have 12 years of public school education, where all of the history classes about local, state, U.S. history incorporate the full and true story, then we have the opportunity and we have the basis to eliminate it. But I think that for now, I'm glad it's here, and I'll equate it to I'll equate it to the whole Black Lives Matter thing. You know, I've got a Black Lives Matter yard sign in my front yard. I wish I didn't. I wish I didn't need to, and I look forward to the day that I can take it out. But the day will come when Black lives matter in every way in this country, the same way that other lives matter. And they don't now, based upon systemic issues and police issues and so forth and so forth. And so the sign needs to be there. And when the sign doesn't need to be there anymore, I'll be thrilled to take it out.
So great stuff. I want to unpack a couple of things you mentioned, and one of them being maybe expand Black History Month, maybe make a couple of Black History years, right? Let's just say from 2022 to 2026. It's just, let's just, you know, just flood the airwaves and everything with the history of Black Americans.
Lay a parallel channel down.
Yeah, just make it a thing that you must see. Now, something that I'm a supporter of, and which is, you know, kind of crazy from a historical perspective. There's never not been the ability for any race to attend HBCU. I am a person who has been fortunate enough to attend the PWI and HBCU. PWI is a primarily white institution, and a HBCU is a historical Black college and university. But I would recommend that white people have to attend an HBCU for some period of time during their college career. Not for any reason other than generally, and this is changing, which are this conversation I'll have at some other time, but HBCUs generally are going to have African-American, Black American professors. The person that is giving the pedagogical experience, that's teaching the lessons, is going to emphasize certain things that may not ever be emphasized, as Bob alluded to, in certain spaces and places throughout their learning experience. But if you have to attend an HBCU and you go sit in the history class, you're generally going to run into a couple of professors that are going to emphasize certain things. And I think that would be beneficial to all of us, especially to those that are curious and just never get the opportunity to learn. There was a question Portia had up about the 1619 project. You don't have to go back to it, Merrill. I do recall it. Will it make it into the curriculum? I don't know. And to be honest, that is something I've had conversations about in other spaces. I'm not thinking that it is where it needs to be taught in the public education system. I understand the sentiment. I get why people would love to engage from that perspective. But I think it does have to go through a little bit more of a process, because we get into why is this not known or celebrated to this level versus that, as opposed to, as I stated earlier, finding the things that connect the histories, because it all took place at one time. It's hard to elevate this as being more important than that. And then she's the lady who created that project. She's in some regards throughout the 1619 project, or at some point in there, she's mentioning that the Revolutionary War was about slavery. That's kind of problematic from a historical standpoint, because it was not at its core. It was in there. So I'm not going to get into a whole history bag, but that is there's some issues with it. So it can get there. I'm supporting the idea of engaging how we teach history in our public education system. We should do some things differently. We should highlight some lesser known peoples and events, but I don't know that particular project is the way to go at this moment. With our last few minutes, and if anybody has anything they wanted to add before I move on, last few minutes.
Yes, I do.
Oh, go ahead, Donnie.
Now that everybody went over everything, I do agree with what everybody said. I would like Black History Month to stay for now, but as the years go on, they change it throughout the year. Cause like what Bob said, like throughout school, I guess TV or businesses, whatever, I got used to I guess looking up Black history figures in the month February. So, and it even happened like at least a year or two after high school. I do it now. It's just I want to say taught. Yeah, the schools taught us to just look them up during February with everything going on. And like I said, I changed my mind from earlier since I'm more informed now. What everybody else said, I would like it. Yeah, I would like it to be gone eventually. With like what you were saying earlier, Merrill, with maybe a little bit more holidays, or was that a bad point you was talking about earlier with the holidays? But
Talk about when he was mentioning MLK. Yeah, yeah,
yeah,
yeah. A lot of symbolism in those things, and they temper the reasoning with you know, with sales and motivations to go do stuff that, you know, is not necessarily reflective of the person or the peoples being celebrated. So yeah, Juneteenth is coming. I hope that we recognize it for what it truly is and what it is reflective of, and not just turn it into another moment of, okay, maybe this will make them happy. No, we have to remain diligent in uplifting us all together, edifying one another. You know, don't be scared to learn something new. So we got 3 minutes left. This may not take that long, but I am curious to know, and I'll start with you, Greg and Julia. Are you sleeping better at night since we have a new occupant in the White House?
I think we can both speak to this. Yes. It's not to wake up to those god awful tweets, but I want to say something about Juneteenth. And that is, my brother is a chemical engineer for a huge, actually German company. And they, you know, did the thing that all businesses were doing. And they said, you know, you can have that day off. But he, in his group, which was some black, some white, they started research. They had a discussion group about what Juneteenth was. So I think a lot of white people didn't even know what it was. So there is something, I think, being done in a positive way, that, you know, giving people the day off and just creating awareness about Juneteenth. White people didn't even know what that was.
A lot of people didn't know what it was, Julia. White, black, a lot of people had no clue what Juneteenth was or is. I will say this about it. I am happy that it is respective of an American event, because a lot of things that we attach to some moments to recognize the celebration are outside of our Black Americanness. And I am a proponent of us celebrating that above all else, because we've been here for so long. Black Americans have been a part of this country since the beginning. That's hence the 1619 Project's date. And we need to take some pride in that. The resilience that we've shown, the ability to ascend despite the circumstances. A lot of that is homegrown, and we have a tendency at some points to outsource our origin story. Africa is a continent, not a country. So we come from various parts of it, not just the whole. And, you know, when I see the Congress people wearing kente cloth and things of that nature, it grates me. So yeah, maybe Juneteenth is a holiday I'll be celebrating more than I think. But yeah, thanks for sharing that, Julia.
Hey, Felton, can I share something real quick to follow up? Said, so I got a friend of mine who's in leadership and corporate with Blue Cross Blue Shield, And what she was telling me, or what she was sharing, she didn't tell me, she was sharing what they did now with their leadership. Instead of having a day off for MLK, they call it a day on. And so you didn't have the day off, but like there was like specific programming and conversations, you know. And so I thought that was a really interesting way to kind of approach. So instead of saying, hey, just kind of relax and enjoy your day, no, come to work, because we're gonna take this time to do some self-work. So I thought that was kind of interesting.
Very, very interesting take. I mean, if your workforce is receptive to that, great. But there's can be some issues even with something that is got this wonderful sentiment underlying it. And I think a lot of those underlying sentiments are based on us not really engaging in a lot of the discussions that should be had and should have been had during Tango. I want my days off, guys. That should have been had while you're learning and while you're in your formative years. You should be understanding why it is valuable to have such a day that you provide services to people outside of yourself. There's a lot more to unpack, and this is always a wonderful space to do so. Bob, are you sleeping better at night? That's the question right now. Going around.
Yes, I'm sleeping better at night, and the lack of the vile and malicious and deceptive messaging out of the White House, for that to be gone is just joyous. And it creates a space where we can actually have conversation and have progress, have hope, and with hope you can have energy. So yeah, absolutely.
What about you, Danya? You sleeping better? We got a new occupant in the White House.
Yes, especially since Twitter also banned them, so I don't have to worry about getting up in the morning and seeing people going crazy all the time.
All right, bro. We're gonna wrap it up with you. What you sleeping any better?
I sleep the same. I had a friend of mine that we have we have this thing that we do here. It's a group we call it's the Black Professional Wind Down. It's a group of professionals here in Raleigh. And there was a sister that came on. She was like, now all y'all folks go to church and you talk about let go and let God. So to be worried about this man and all this stuff, you know, like if you say you pray on it and you have faith, you shouldn't be worried about what this crazy guy's doing, you know, what 45 is doing, you know. And like, so she was serious, but she also was like, I'm not one of these folks that got overstressed over stuff that he was doing and saying, because it's just not my makeup. But I'm interested. I think about things weirdly. I sleep.
Yeah, so I'm in agreement with you. I sleep pretty much the same. I'm somebody who engages with so much of this history that we've experienced. He's a moment in time, and he's not too different from others that we have experienced. He's just more out loud with it. So I may even miss some of the unbelievable moments that this guy brought to the forefront. And he's not gone.
Don't say that, buddy.
He's still around. You know, he's still trying to formulate some new awesome things that are going to be great and wonderful and really big, really huge. Yeah, that's my impression of Trump. But anyway,
Hitler went away for a few years too.
Who?
Adolf Hitler went away for a few years.
I'm not going to touch that one. I'm not going to make the correlation. Listen, you all have a wonderful evening. I'm glad most of you are sleeping better. I sleep the same. Meryl sleeps the same. You guys have a good night. Appreciate you being here. And rest in peace to Ms. Tyson, wonderful performer.
Hey, Felton.
Yes.
I do want to say before we close out, for folks that are watching us tonight, in a few weeks, this Thursday night will be part of a Black Empowerment Week that we are organizing. There are some really amazing young leaders in Reidsville and Rockingham County that want to put a week's worth of content on StreamYard. And it's going to be a super collaborative event where Sunday, February 14th through Sunday, the 21st, there'll be some type of content streaming on all of these different platforms for all of these amazing groups in Rockingham County that are doing really great work. And the content will be focused on Black empowerment, health, economics, film, social media. I can't wait. But that on that Thursday, what we've decided to do is have this space be part of it and be focused on the importance of connections and networking. So it'll be really interesting. And this is in February the 18th, whatever that day is. But I'm hoping that we have a lot of people tune in for all 7 days of content. It's going to be really exciting. So more to come. But I just want people to know that we've got this really exciting week that's led. And this is NC100 just helping the process. This is not our content. Most of the stuff that's going to be happening from Sunday to Sunday is organically from these young leaders in Rockingham County that wanted to go from protest and demonstration to action and figuring out ways to work together on different stuff and de-silo some of these movements. So just wanted to throw that out there, a little pre advertisement.
Sounds great. Sounds wonderful. Make sure you following NC100 on Facebook and just check out the website. Keep up with things that are happening with us, via us. So it's all related. I love the fact that there's an intention to centralize some of these things, because there's a lot of scattered movements, thoughts and ideas that take place over here and over there, and they would just do well to be brought together. And that's what it sounds like is taking place. So February 14th through February 21st. Thanks for that, Mike. Those dates, if you can, share some time and get to know something about
Mike is one of the organizers. That's going to be he's going to be on a podcast with the Joe Dexter Report on the February 10th, where he's going to get interviewed about his vision and the vision of the young folks that are doing this work.
Awesome. That's wonderful. Great. And I support. I hope you do too. And thanks for, that's a good note to end on. So it's not just the month of February is just a coincidence. You can be active at any point at any time, get what you're trying to get out there, and hopefully it's for the betterment of us all. Hey, let's do better together. Thank you all for being here and sharing. Take care. Have a wonderful night.
Take care.
All right.
Take care. Folks watching on YouTube, the replay will be on at 9 o'clock in the morning tomorrow. Bye-bye.